Skills, agents, workflows. 3 words everyone in Claude Code throws around, and almost no one can tell you the difference. They sound the same. They are not. Pick the wrong one and you either waste hours or burn through your usage for nothing. So in this video, I'm putting all 3 head to head, what each one actually is, how they are different, and exactly when to use which. By the end, you will never mix them up again. If you use Claude Code, watch till the end. Quick thing first, because the names trick people, everyone thinks 3: skills, agents, workflows. But that word agents is actually doing some heavy lifting. It covers 2 separate setups that literally behave differently. So it's actually 4, not 3. And these go from barely doing anything to genuinely wild. A skill is a sticky note for Claude, and a workflow can rewrite a whole code base while you grab a coffee, and these 2 agent types sits between. So we start with the bottom, which is a skill, and then we move up. Before any of the 4, one question runs through all of them, and it makes the whole thing simple. Who is holding the plan, Claude or script? When you ask Claude something, normally it holds the plan in its own head, working through it step by step. The other way, the plan gets written down as an actual code that runs on its own off to the side, so no Claude in the loop on every step. That one difference is the whole video. It separates the simple tools at the bottom from the heavy ones on the top. Who is holding the plan? Keep that with you. So a skill is just you writing instructions down once into a file, format you like, the checklist you always run, whatever it is. Claude reads it when it's relevant or when you call it by name. So no agents in the background, just Claude with your playbook attached. So let me demonstrate a skill, how it looks like in Claude Code, or actually anywhere, even in a terminal. Okay, what is a skill? A skill is a file called skill.md, and it lives inside a folder. You can name it whatever you want. It has a name, a description, and then it has a set of instructions that really consists of steps for Claude to understand what it should do. This is exactly what a skill is. Of course, here you can see we have comments like we have in the code, for example. These comments are not necessarily needed, but they make reading the skill easier. So this is basically a skill. A skill is just a file with instructions in it. Okay. And here is the move most people miss. They skip this and run to the flashy stuff. Don't. A good skill saves you more time, more often than anything else on this list, and it costs basically nothing. So we step up. The first kind of an agent, sub-agent. So this is Claude delegating. It's working on something. It's a piece it wants to hand off, then spins up this helper to go do it, and then waits for the answer to come back. You can have a few running at once. One detail you have to get, these helpers cannot talk to each other. Each does its job and then reports back and then disappears. Claude is still the only brain steering. The helpers are extra hands, so nothing more. Claude is still the only brain steering. The helpers are like extra hands. Nothing more. Hold that, because the next one does the exact opposite. So Claude Code actually spins up these sub-agents automatically, but if you want to have your own agent, sub-agent, you just type slash and it types agents. And then here you see we have running agents and we have a library, and then we can create our own agents. And this is topic for an extra video. So let's move on. Now the flip, an agent team. The same helpers, except now they talk to each other. They share a task list and they message back and forth, and they can even disagree. That disagreement is the entire reason you would use a team. Take a real example. You've got a bug and nobody knows the code. One agent grabs the first theory and runs, and you waste an hour. So you put 3 on it and tell them to prove each other wrong. Now it's a debate, and the theory left standing is almost always the real bug. So heads up, this one is still experimental, and keep it to 3 to 5 on the net, and they just trip over each other. Okay, this is the big one, dynamic workflows. Everything so far, Claude held the plan. This one flips it. You describe what you want, and instead of doing it directly, Claude sits down and writes a script, usually JavaScript. And then a separate engine runs a script in the background, kicking off dozens, sometimes hundreds of agents at once while you go do something else. The plan is not in Claude's head anymore. It's written down. So you can read it, you can run it again next month. That's the line I drew on slide 3. This is what I talked about when I said who is holding the plan. And this lives on the far side of it. So why bother turning the plan into a script? So it's not just doing more at once, though it does. It's the workflow checks its own work before you even see it. So one batch of agents find answers, and then the second batch comes in to tear those answers apart and try to break them. Whatever survives, it's what you get. So you're not handed a fast, sloppy first draft. You get an answer that's already been argued over and double checked. And it all happens off to the side. So your chat stays clean and you just get the result. And this is not theory. Someone took a real piece of software called Bun. And this is actually a really complex software and used one workflow to rewrite the whole thing from one programming language to another. If you did it manually before, you would know exactly the problems and the complexity behind it. So 750,000 lines of file. Almost every test still passing 11 days from start to finish. 11 days for something that a team would normally block out months for. Hundreds of agents work in a parallel and then 2 reviewers on every file. And the loop that kept running the test until they pass. That's what this can do. And in a second, I will be straight with you about what it costs. So let me show you an example of a workflow that I generated. So I gave Claude Code the instructions to build a workflow. And this is the important thing. You have to build a workflow or create a workflow. So the name workflow here is important for Claude to know that you want a dynamic workflow. And I gave it the task to research about certain topics in the AI automation space, the space I am in. And so it returned with some questions. So I gave it the questions, a response to the questions. And then it went and created this plan. And this is the plan actually. It has a summary and the agent count is 18. So it will spin up 18 sub-agents or agents, not sub-agents, real agents that work and get back with result. And the result then will be gathered and summarized inside this session. So, and it went back with this plan. So it created 4 steps. Each step has a certain number of agents, 6 in parallel here, then 4, and then it summarizes here, writes the report into CSVs, and it even laid out what the end result would look like with the report, with the communities and the creators. And then it went and worked for around 17 minutes and it uses 18 agents and 240 tool users. Yeah. And then at the end, I could go and look at the files here, reports, open them, and then I see the results. So this is what dynamic workflows is. Recap all 4 side by side. And this is the slide where it comes together. So 2 columns, who decides the next move and where the half-finished work sits. Watch it go down the list. First 3, the deciding keeps landing on Claude with the team sorting it among themselves. Then the workflows breaks it. The script decides and the work lives in the script, not your chat. That split, the top 3 against the bottom 1, is the exact question from the start. Who is holding the plan? If you screenshot one slide, screenshot it. Now the practical side. What do you actually pick? So the cheat sheet's on the screen, so let me give you what isn't. So for almost everything day to day, the answer is none of these. You just talk to Claude normally like you always did. I'm saying it loud because the second people learn workflows exist, they want to use them for everything. And that's how you wait forever and burn money on something that took 30 seconds yesterday. One freebie, deep research, it's a workflow that's already built in. Got the research, question across a bunch of sources, you don't build anything. It's right there. And now the downside, and it's the real one. The more powerful the option, the more it costs. And it's not a gentle climb, it's a real cliff. Skill is basically free, and the workflow can eat your usage fast because every agent is a full request. A skill is basically free, but a workflow can eat your usage fast because every agent is a full request and it's running a pile of them at once. What saves you, it won't sneak up on you. The first time a workflow's about to run, Claude shows you the plan and asks first, so don't just slam yes. Read what it's about to do and make sure you pointed it at the right size of job. A scope task costs pennies. Fix my whole code base does not. So here's where it lands. Those four aren't rivals you pick between. They are a ladder. Cheap and simple at the bottom, powerful and pricey at the top. Teach Claude wants a skill, hands off a task, sub-agents want them to debate a team, jobs too big for one. Start at the bottom. Only climb when the rank you're on runs off the room. The flashiest option is almost never the first move. And now you know how to tell which rank you actually need. If this helped it, click, hit like. It generally helps the channel. Subscribe if you want more of this broken down simple and join our Plain AI school community. See you in the next one.